Hello and welcome to the Becoming Your Highest Self podcast. I'm your host, Macy Renee, and we are going on a journey together, my friend. If you've been looking for a podcast geared towards your growth, self-awareness, navigating your brain's daily mind drama, and deep inner work to become your highest and best self, you are in the perfect place. Let's get started. Good morning. Welcome back to another episode of Becoming Your Highest Self podcast featuring bonus week. So because we just recently hit 100,000 downloads, I wanted to celebrate because it's such a big milestone and I'm so grateful for you guys. So I thought it'd be fun to release a new episode every day for a week. So this Monday through Friday, you're going to get new content. That way you can binge it or you can spread it out, however you want to do it. I'm just excited to bring it to you. And the most exciting part of this is I've decided for this week only that I'm going to allow people to join the Equip Society with a payment plan. So if the finances have been the reason why you've had to say no to the opportunity of getting coached and, taking this next step and up leveling in your life with coaching, I wanted to be able to give a break to those people who, feel like that's the thing that's holding them back. It's the money telling them no. And so if that's been you, I hope that you are able to take advantage of this opportunity this week. And I would absolutely love to have you. I was in that position many times and have been in that position many times over the last 6 years of my journey of money telling me no, not me saying no. So if you listen to the Soul Hell Yes, Hell No episode just recently, there's a piece of you that knows when you want something really, really bad. And then there's sometimes circumstances that shut it down for you. And a lot of times in my life, money shut down my soul hell yeses. And it was just really, really devastating for me. And I remember one time hearing a coach saying, do you decide or does money decide for you? And that's stuck with me my entire life my entire life since, because when she said that, it actually made me realize that, how much crap I had learned throughout my life about negativity around money and around why it was bad to want for more or, all of the negative stories around having more and being able to do more. And I realized at that moment that there were so many things I wanted to experience and do in my life that I knew would help me grow if money wasn't the barrier. And so I realized that, and I have been asked multiple times, since launching the Equip Society, do you have a payment plan for it? And the answer to that has been no, and it won't change because I hate the processing fees and all of that. And it's just so much easier to have it one and done, and the people in there, get it all done in one swoop. However, I realize that there are times in life where we're having a little bit of help and assistance and a break, and just our finances and not having to do a big chunk at once can be extremely helpful. So with that being said, June 20th through June 25th, you can join the Equip Society with a payment plan. You'll do 3 payments, one in June, one in July, and one in August. And I hope that it helps you out and allows you to take this next step in your life so that I can support you in growing into becoming your highest self, becoming more self-aware, and improving your emotional intelligence. I'm really excited to see who all is going to take advantage of that opportunity. And I'm so excited to meet you if I haven't already. All right, so let's talk about blaming people for the good. That is going to be today's topic. So I watched Tony Robbins' documentary on Netflix years ago, and I've watched it multiple times, like probably 7 or 8, because I love it so much. If you haven't watched it, I definitely recommend it. I can't remember the exact name of it right now. I can't think of it, but it's such a good series. It's so emotionally moving. And at one point, he tells one of the people that he's coaching, you've got to stop blaming people for all of the bad, because if you're going to blame them for all of the bad, then damn it, you better be blaming them for the good and who you've become. And when he said that, it really hit me in a different way. And I started thinking about that because I think something that is really common for us in our life is to get into this victim state where we blame people for why our life is crappy, why it sucks, why it doesn't feel the way that we want it to feel. And we blame the people that we think, caused it or are causing it. And it feels so much easier to do that. But on the flip side of that, think of who you've become and who you're becoming, and the things that you have been able to overcome or get through because of the experiences that felt absolutely crappy in your life. So I think a lot about different things I experienced in my childhood or young adulthood. And before I met my coach, my gosh, I spent so much time in victimhood and blaming and thinking that my life was never going to change and it was never going to be able to be different because of the things that I experienced and the things that I went through and the trauma that I was still holding in my body. And every time something bad would happen, it would be like, well, of course this is happening. This is a part of who I am because of so-and-so. Like, this is how I show up because of so-and-so. And if so-and-so hadn't done this thing, then, my life would be easier and my life would be better. But in speaking of Tony Robbins talking about blaming people for the good, like when you blame them for the bad, you give them your power. So to take your power back, you have to blame them for the good things as well. And those good things are, who have you become because of the walls you've been pressed against and the challenges you've had to overcome and the problem solving your brain has had to do and the realizations you've had about maybe who you don't want to be in your life and all of the good, amazing qualities about you that are amazing are because of some of the bad things that you've experienced. So if you're going to blame people for all of the bad things, you better blame them for the good things as well. And I think of that. I probably wouldn't have a podcast had I not had the life that I did. I probably would never be a coach and an entrepreneur doing what I love if I hadn't experienced the things that I experienced in my life and people who doubted me and who told me that I was making the wrong decisions or who judged me. Like, if I hadn't had that, which felt like misery in the moment, lack of support in the moment, lack of love in the moment, if I hadn't had that, I probably wouldn't be sitting here right now talking to you celebrating 100,000 downloads. I wouldn't have some of the clients that I have. I wouldn't have experienced some of the things that I've experienced in my life without those things happening, because those things happening are what drove me to, deciding I wanted different things for my life. I wanted to be a different person. I wanted to end trauma cycles and I wanted to go do all of these amazing things in life. And without the duality of experiencing what my brain perceived as bad and wrong and not fair, I wouldn't have had the capacity to understand what feels good to me and what feels, like what lights me up inside and what makes me feel really good. So that duality in life is so important. And we have to remember that although there are people in our life that will cause pain and misery, it's oftentimes due to the things that they're not healing or dealing with in their own life. And it doesn't mean that that gives them permission to treat you however they are treating you or putting you through the things that maybe you feel that they are. But what it does mean is that when you are doing your own work, when you're doing your own healing, you won't find the need to blame them for where you are or where you've been. You will more so find compassion for why they behave the way that they do, why they treat you the way that they do, why they're doing the things that they're doing. And then you will be able to turn back to yourself and say, thank you for doing that. And thank you for learning X, Y, and Z lessons. Thank you for showing me who I didn't want to be. Thank you for putting me in the situation where I was under so much pressure. I became a freaking diamond, because you are learning so much from the experiences in your life that either feel good or don't. that is your meter for what's working and what's not working. So like if you're in a job that you absolutely hate and you can't stand it and you're showing up anyways, right? There is something that you're learning from that, and it might feel like it's your boss's fault. It might feel like it's your coworker's fault. It might feel like it's the organization's fault. And you can blame them for how bad it feels, but you can also blame them for the good that's coming out of that, like realizing you want to be treated differently. You want to be in an environment that is more healthy. You want to make more money. You want to have more time freedom. You want to go after your dreams. You want more time with your family or vacation time. Like everything bad that you're pressed up against or that feels bad, that your brain perceives as awful, gives you the ability to have a meter of what's working and what's not working and what you can do differently. And if you do the things differently, that's when your life changes. So whenever you feel as if someone or something is causing you to have this horrendous, awful life, what I really want to encourage you to do is find the good in what you're learning because of the crappy situations you've been in, because of the things that you've experienced. Who has that helped you become? What people have been brought into your life because of it? How is it shaping you? How has it changed maybe how you parent or how you want to parent? How has it positively impacted the you that you are today, even if you're not exactly where you want to be? Okay, so you still have room to grow. You still have room to become your highest self, but things that you've endured and experienced are something worth being celebrated in the sense that you've learned what's working, what's not working, and what you want to do differently. And when you take that power back and thank those people or those things or those experiences, even figuratively, for the good that came out of it, the you that came out of it, that's doing something different, that is really worth celebrating and getting your power back, taking your power back so that you can go get to the next level and do whatever it is that is going to help you become your highest self, whatever that looks like for you. So I hope that you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to blame for the good as well. And check out Tony Robbins' Netflix series. I think if you just type in his name, you'll be able to watch it. So powerful. Another example of why I love coaching. Now, his approach is definitely different. All coaches have a little bit of a different flavor for how they show up for their clients. But I have to say, I would be lying if I didn't say I was moved to tears watching that all 7 to 8 times. So I hope you all have an incredible week. But I will talk to you guys again tomorrow. See you then.